Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponder on Weather coming at you with another video. In this update, we're going to be talking about Tropical Storm Iota, now expected to be a major hurricane by Monday in the Caribbean. So before I do get started, if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel, as I will upload about 5 videos a week to keep you updated. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family that may be in the path of Iota. So we have a lot to talk about, so let's kind of delve into the details. Here is the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center as of 4 a.m. And we now have a tropical storm on our hands. It is a 40-mile-per-hour tropical storm. This is the 30th storm of the season. This has just been a very active year, and we are in uncharted territory. We already had a major hurricane of Eta in November, and now we're talking about another major hurricane potentially in November. This would be the second one that's never happened before in history in November. But this could be a very dangerous storm. It is now a tropical storm at 40 miles an hour. It is moving west-southwest at 5 miles an hour, and that is supposed to deviate and go westward today, be a 65-mile-per-hour tropical storm just south of Jamaica by early tomorrow morning, overnight, but then kind of really ramps up as a hurricane just south of, say, Negril, as an 80-mile-per-hour hurricane just as quickly as Sunday afternoon. So this kind of really ramps up in a big way, and then it continues intensifying into a 100-mile-per-hour hurricane, and then becomes a major hurricane of 115 miles an hour just 60 hours from now at 1 o'clock on Monday, and then continues to strengthen as a 120-mile-per-hour hurricane, potentially making landfall again in Honduras and Nicaragua, which was just impacted by Eta. So this is just devastating that this could happen. But here's the latest. So I wanted to give you an update on Iota. It is basically currently experiencing light westerly shear produced by upper level trough to the west. This shear is expected to subside over the next 12 hours, and it's going over extremely favorable conditions. Water temperatures at 29 degrees Celsius. Thus, the conditions are conducive or steady to rapid intensification once the storm gets well organized initially and takes advantage of the very, very favorable environment, what we kind of been talking about from this wave early on. The new intensity forecast is similar to the previous one, and it calls for rapid intensification to a major hurricane with peak intensity of 105 knots, which is 120 miles an hour, making landfall in Central America. So this is also important to note that both hurricane models, the HWRF and the HMON, both forecast taking a little bit slightly northward jog, keeping it over water longer, and therefore intensifying even further than the official forecast noted right now. So this is just incredible to see. We're talking the ship's guidance, ramping this hurricane up, 65 knots. That's a 58% chance over the next 72 hours. That's 11 times the climatologically average. So this is a very unusual event, especially happening in the middle of November, that this is expected to really ramp up in a big way. Here's your hazards that are going to be infecting land between now and Wednesday. So we're talking the next 5 days. This is the potential impacts that are going to be affecting land. Honduras, northern Nicaragua, eastern Guatemala, southern Belize, 8 to 16 inches of rainfall. Isolated amounts of 20 to 30 inches possible, especially northeast of Nicaragua and Honduras. This is just devastating for that area. Costa Rica, Panama, and northern Colombia, 4 to 8 inches with isolated maximum total potential of 12 inches. This rainfall would lead to significant life-threatening flash flooding and river flooding, along with mudslides in the higher terrain. El Salvador and southern Nicaragua, 2 to 4 inches, maximum 6 inches. Jamaica, 1 to 3 inches, as you will be a little bit further south from this storm. The surf swells generated by Iota will affect portions of the coast of Colombia and southern coast of Hispaniola and Jamaica during the next 2 days. So swells begin to increase off the coast of Nicaragua and Honduras on Monday. Obviously, the swells are likely to cause life-threatening surf and rip currents to that area. So here is the latest timing of the potential tropical storm force winds to impact your area. It is now going to be a 40-mile-per-hour tropical storm, but this will propagate westward. So you're going to be starting feeling the effects in Jamaica just early as overnight tonight into Sunday, with tropical storm force winds impacting the island. So, and as this gets stronger, the wind field expands. So I do expect even higher tropical storm force winds impacting Jamaica coming up tomorrow morning on Sunday morning. But as this propagates westward, the wind field just expands even further. The tropical storm force winds will impact this area, and then even as early as Monday morning, you're going to start feeling the effects of those tropical storm force winds starting to hit your area in Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, and then later on in the period in the central Honduras, getting into Monday night, and then propagating into El Salvador, getting into Belize by then on Tuesday morning, and then extending to Guatemala over the next 4 to 5 days. So here is also another in another language. I know a lot of people, follow me that don't speak English, so I wanted to cater to you folks as well, so you can actually pause the video and read the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center in your language. Also, here's your latest satellite picture from Iota. All right, so here's what we have to work with. We've been kind of talking about this tropical wave since the U.S. Virgin Islands over the last couple of days, and now it is officially a tropical storm. Just trying to get its act together. It has a little bit of shear coming off the west side, but that is expected to subside, going into a very favorable environment. And I really do feel this is going to be really getting its act together in a big way and ramp up quickly over this area as it hits a very conducive environment. So impacts for the next 5 days from Tropical Storm Iota would be Jamaica and Cayman would be just on the outskirts of this storm. Panama City, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Honduras, Belize. This is the area. Honduras to Belize. This is your to Guatemala. This is your probably the most highest impact area from Iota. So if you live in this zone, definitely be paying attention. You could be seeing the greatest impacts from Iota, from this system over the next 5 days. Let's look at the latest guidance from all the computer guidance, and I'll show you the deviation. Here's the official track from the National Hurricane Center. This propagates it westward and really ramps it up in a big way by 48 hours, and then takes it into Central America with a devastating, life-threatening flash flooding event going on in Honduras and just north Nicaragua of 20 to 30 inches. This is just devastating for that area, especially after they've been through Iota. And this would propagate, a piece of it would go back out into the Pacific. I know this question has been brought up. Has a storm ever held together from the Atlantic side to the Pacific side? Actually, there's been 18 of them since they've been tracking records basically since 1851. Over the last 170 years, there's actually been 18 storms that had that crossover effect from Atlantic to the Pacific. But it's also important to note the hurricane models that have been pretty accurate, the HMON and the HWRF. This is the inflection point from this storm on Sunday afternoon. This developing ridge from the northwest in the United States could actually lift this storm a little bit further northwest than the official track, and that's what the hurricane models are kind of picking up on. This would actually keep it over water, just north of Central America longer, possibly for another 2 days, even intensifying this storm further with greater impacts longer. So that is a possibility, and I'll show you that possibility at the end of the video. Here's the latest GFS model, kind of shows you from Saturday morning as I'm making this video. This is Tropical Storm Iota trying to get its act together. We'll try to propagate westward throughout the day, starting to spread in isolated showers and thunderstorms to the island of Jamaica, and then start spreading the rain, intensifying the rain in Panama City as well as Costa Rica. As this propagates westward, it will become a formidable tropical storm later on this afternoon into tomorrow morning. This is a 994 millibar, spreading more tropical rains into Jamaica on the south side as this kind of gets its act together. Then by Monday, we're talking it could be a hurricane by then. The official guidance has it as an 80 mile per hour hurricane just south of Jamaica, spreading those tropical storm force winds into the island, impacting as this gets stronger, the wind field expands, therefore the rain expands. So this will bring in the rains into Panama City, into Costa Rica, start spreading the outflow into Nicaragua and Honduras, and getting into Belize with the outer spray of Iota as it kind of gets its act together, and even into Cancun, you're going to start seeing some rain. But then by Monday, it kind of really ramps up in a big way. Now we're talking a formidable hurricane by then, as it kind of really starts to kind of wound up and develops what they call an inner core. So this could really start entering the phase of rapid intensification quickly in a big way as it's approaching land. So this is a devastating blow for that area. And by just Monday afternoon and into early Tuesday morning, so this is very quick. Well, this is Saturday morning, so we're already talking, it ramps up in a very big way. This would be a formidable hurricane approaching Central America into Honduras, putting life-threatening flash flooding and landslides to that area. Now let's take a look at the latest European model. Now this model is essentially going into this year, it was the best model, #1 accuracy of all time, and it has just not had a good feeling for the tropics this season. It's been a little bit off. The intensity has been off. It's the direction has been a tad bit off all season, but I'll show you the latest European drops it to a 970 millibar hurricane as it approaches Central America and Honduras. Now let's take a look at the latest hurricane models and what the National Hurricane Center guidance has kind of showed that a possibility that could happen. So if this were to come to fruition, if it does on that inflection point on Sunday, take it a little bit further northwest jog, instead of making it a beeline into Central America and kind of raining itself out, or really spreading the rains into Central America and eventually spreading over to the Pacific side, it would deviate just a slight jog, right? So it would deviate just slightly north, keeping it over water longer, intensifying it longer. So this is just north. So this is not a good scenario at all. So there's definitely there's only two scenarios, and neither one of them were good. And this would drop it to a 943 millibar hurricane. This would be a Category 4 hurricane if this were to come to fruition just north of Central America. And then the HMON even takes it down a little further. So these models have been pretty accurate. So that's why the National Hurricane Center has even mentioned these. That is a possibility that these models have been trending a little bit further north. And this would take it to a 927 millibar hurricane. Remember, Ada got down to a 923, and that was a formidable 150 mile per hour powerful hurricane. So, but if it does take that track, that would actually keep it over water longer. And so instead of making landfall on early Tuesday morning, this would deviate just skirting the coast as a hurricane along the way, and this is over a 2-day time frame. So this would be a major hurricane just north of Central America, and then skirting the coastline, weakening a little bit, but still holding together because it's over water, just spreading and impacting Belize even further. So it's a scenario that it could play out. So instead of making landfall on Tuesday, it could take a slight northward jog and deviate over water longer, putting more land interaction into play and longer time frame in a strengthening storm as well. So that is a possibility. And also the rainfall, these are some extreme levels. So here's the latest landfall. We went over the rainfall from the National Hurricane Center. This is the model input. So you can see Jamaica and the Cayman Islands are just going to be just on the south side from this storm. But just south of there is a lot of these purple areas. We're talking 20 plus inches. So in areas of like Panama City, into Costa Rica, into Guatemala, just, you know, incredible rain amounts. But here's your maximum potential. Right into Honduras, right into Belize, right into Guatemala. We could be seeing some devastating flooding, life-threatening flash flooding rains from this event, from anywhere from 20 plus inches going up to, you know, 30 inches in isolated amounts. So that is just devastating. So I will definitely keep you abreast from the potential storm, as we got a lot to talk about over the next 5 days. I plan on doing 2 updates a day, so you can catch the latest. Please like this video, definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch me in the next video, where I protect you before and after the storm.